I'd been hiding it for so long. I'd been stiff and still and protective, you know, and now I'm open, loving, and caring, and Io's amazing, and the experience here at Soul Quest is amazing. You're gonna get it from both ends. Io's gonna love on you, and we're gonna love on you. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Hi, Request with Ryan Cropper. Oh my, this man is amazing, and this place is amazing. And I'm so honored to have gone on this journey. My name is Wesley Jean, and this is my first time taking ayahuasca, and it will not be my last.
You gotta tell me when you're coming here again.
I'm coming here next week to volunteer.
Really? I'm here next
Yes.
week.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, cool.
You know what? And after the first ceremony, I already knew I was coming back to volunteer. It was just too beautiful. This place is honestly amazing. I have not seen so much love in one place my entire life. I promise you. Like, not the medicine itself is amazing, but the experience these people bring to you is just as amazing. Like, you can tell ayahuasca isn't just in the medicine, it's in the people. It's amazing.
Should we send the swings?
Yes.
Oh, this is the tent where we take the ayahuasca around.
The aboga.
The aboga? I was gonna say hi to some people. I wonder how people will react to being live. 48 people. Say hi to the camera!
Bye.
I'll be back. There's no such thing as goodbye.
Good vibes. Hey, buddy, this is your phone.
Thank you.
You're live to 41 people so far.
Bye.
Camera.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Say hi to the camera.
Oh, that just pretty much made my day right there.
Say hi to the camera. You were awesome yesterday, man. Awesome. That was the ayahuasca retreat that I went to not too long ago in Orlando. And by far, it's one of the best ayahuasca retreats I've been to for this simple reason. They made me feel loved, looked after, taken care of. It felt like I was amongst friends that I'd known for a long period of time, which is interesting because I'm sure many of you have experienced having a strong connection with your friends growing up and then having that connection just diminish over time. You try to make new friends in order to re-establish a sense of friendship, but it never quite works. Going into this retreat straight away made me feel like I had re-established that sense of friendship with complete strangers. Another thing that I liked about Soul Quest was the fact that I can get up and eat whenever I wanted. Some retreats are very regimented when it comes to allowing you access to food. Soul Quest was not one of them. Yeah, it was recommended not to eat about 2 to 3 hours before an ayahuasca ceremony, but afterwards you could eat whatever you'd like. Now, what was really cool was the fact that there was a convenience store pretty close nearby, and so you could buy your own food and actually store it in their fridges. Not only that, but you're not expected to go out and buy your own food. They actually stock up for you. They have cereal there, or you can make sandwiches, eggs, you can pretty much make whatever you want, which was nice, you know? It felt like I was looked after. The whole layout of Soul Quest is quite easy to navigate. You walk in through the entrance, and of course you've got the area where you sign up, you sign forms, you give information about who you are and stuff like that so that they know more about you and your experience with psychedelics. Then you're shown where you're gonna stay. Now, for the average person, you're accommodated with bunk beds. You know, it's quite dorm-like, and from what other people have told me, it's quite a nice experience to be bunking with like-minded spiritual individuals. I was placed in a different area because I have a lot of things. You know, I had camera gear because I was shooting video there. I was there for different reasons, and so I was treated a little differently, but honestly, I wouldn't have minded if I had less stuff. Staying in the regular dorm-like rooms. They also had buildings outside near the Maloka. Now, the Maloka is a huge tent where everyone does the ayahuasca. And around the Maloka, there are rooms whereby you basically have your own setup. There's a fridge in there, there's a bed, it's very private, it's very nice. You could also rent out a space there. If you don't want those rooms, I think it's the winter time, they have these other tents on the right side of the Maloka. Again, very cozy. You've got a view of the lake outside. There's a nice walking area where you can go and contemplate your thoughts after one of the ceremonies. Now, again, I was there for 2 weeks, so I got to experience 2 weekends worth of taking ayahuasca. I didn't do the daytime ceremony. Most places that I've been to only do nighttime ceremonies, and so it'll start at sundown and it'll finish roughly around 5 a.m. in the morning, you know, a nighttime ceremony. But at Soul Quest, you have the opportunity to not only go to a nighttime ceremony, but pretty much straight after sleeping a couple of hours. Some people just stayed up throughout the night, morning, and then went to the daytime ceremony. And so imagine that. You do a whole night's worth of journeying, you stay up a few hours, then you go and do it all over again during the daytime. Now, I didn't get to do the daytime. Apparently when you do the daytime ceremonies, aliens show up. But I was so drained and wiped out from the nighttime ceremony. I just couldn't do it. A couple of people could, which was impressive. You know, I'd come out of my room and I'd see people just throwing up, but not me. My experience had my head pulsating, and I think I'm gonna go into it in this video. I think I should. I'm not normally loud in ayahuasca, but for some reason this time I was. In the beginning, I was fine. I was just laying there on my mat and I was just looking around. I was really happy because I had my partner next to me. I journeyed with her before, so it was nice. It was new, it was fresh. I'm laying there and I just suddenly burst into character.
Let's rock this joint!
1 second I'm thick British, and the next I'm American. The next I'm speaking some other language, and it felt like I was just doing it to annoy everyone around me. Okay? Now, first off, I'm not normally like that, but there was this sense about me whilst I was on the medicine that influenced my decision making. It kind of made me feel like I had to do it, like I had to trigger everyone around me. And so I did. I didn't even second guess it. Like, I didn't question it at all. I just did it because this would have been my 11th ayahuasca ceremony at that point, and I'd learned to trust the process. And so I started making noises. I started saying random things, which after the ceremony I found out were true. For example, after breaking out into all these different forms of myself, I started saying that it was okay to fart, to literally just rip gas everywhere in the room. And I felt like I had to say it to a specific woman that was next to me. And I felt like she was listening. I felt like she could hear me. And so I deliberately turned my head and my body in that direction. I was like, it's okay to rip ass. It's okay to fart. It's fine. Gas is normal. Everything's normal. It's okay. Be yourself. It's fine. Just do it. Do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. You know, and I felt like I was annoying about a third of the people in the Maloka. The other third were just curious. And she was very much like, he's speaking to my soul. Whether or not she did it, I don't know. But after that, I felt like I had to talk about food. You know, what was okay to consume and what wasn't okay to consume. So I was like, stay away from red meat, because red meat signifies violence around animals, signifies the beating and the destructive nature of mankind and how they lash out and they project their issues and their worries onto these poor animals. And then you eat it. Stay away from red meat. But eggs are okay, because eggs signify a birthing process. And if you eat eggs, it actually helps to encourage the birthing process of a new mindset, you know, a new state of being. And the eggs are actually very spiritual. You can eat some white fish. That's okay too. It changes your frequency, allowing you to gain access to these other multidimensionally faceted aspects of yourself. And so I became very loud, very informative. And then I felt like I needed to stop. I felt like I needed to change how people in the room were being triggered, and I felt like I needed to soothe them. I just started singing.
They call me Cuba Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom.
Now, it takes a lot to get me to sing in person. Like, I have to be in a very elevated mood, right? But for some reason, I just felt entertained with the thought of releasing these people from whatever it was that they were going through. And so first I started off with tones. I would make these really high-pitched, strange tones. And then it would go into me singing along with the ayahuasca music, which was weird because I didn't know the lyrics, but in that moment, it was like the lyrics were being fed to me ahead of time. And I got it right every single time. After a while of being there and going deep into some of the people's past lives, those who were next to me, I would pull from their past lives and I would tell them things about themselves, including everyone else that was there. I started saying how everyone used to be aliens and that we all used to be on the ship. And I was like, I'm not supposed to tell anyone about this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And my ego was very bolstered, right? It was just very expressive. It was hilarious actually, because one of the facilitators there decided to sit across from me just because they were so entertained. And they were just like this. After I felt like I was done there, I felt pulled to going outside, because you're not only allowed to lay within the Maloka, you're also allowed to lay outside. They have the Maloka, and then they have 2 other tents outside where you do Kambo and other plant medicines. And then you have, just in front of those 2 tents, a big area where you can lay. There's a shrine where there are a lot of ornaments that feel enchanted and kind of blessed by shamans and other spiritual people. And so I set up a nice cozy area near the fire, and I do the exact same thing that I did in the Maloka. I hit specific tones that I noticed that when I would approach and go through, the people around me would freak out. Like they would start shaking and yelling and getting loud, and then I would bring it down, and then they would just relax. There's this one guy behind me that would really get into it, and so during our next ceremony, I made sure to be next to him. And there was actually one point, I think it was on the last ceremony, where we had our heads near enough touching. He was here, his head was here, my head was here, we were spread out. It was like we were classmates in this school of ayahuasca. It was like we were buddies. And I would laugh and he would laugh, and I'd whistle and he would whistle, and then I would bring him up and he would start shaking with my tones, and I'd bring him down. And at one point I felt like someone was smiling at me, and I felt this connection with him, like he was a friend. And I opened my eyes and I looked, and there he was, and he was smiling at me. And it just so happened to be someone that had been subscribed to my YouTube channel, and he came to see me there. And it was really, really nice. I loved my time there at Soul Quest. I'll definitely go again. It took me by surprise. It really did. What wasn't a surprise was the fact that the place was haunted. Because I was there for 2 weeks, people usually only come on the weekend. And so from Monday to Friday, it's pretty much empty. It was just me, my partner, and a few other people. So you're probably looking at about 5, within the entire facility. And so we're sat outside, and all of a sudden, I just got chills thinking about it. My whole body lights up. I just get freaked out. At that moment, I check my peripheral vision to my left, and I see a person walking up to me in a black shirt. He's a white guy. He's quite far away. We keep having our conversation, and it happens again. I see him walking towards me, only this time he's much closer. We keep having our conversation, and you guessed it, he's right here, right? I'm not the only guy there that's seeing this person. As soon as I brought it up, another individual mentions how she's also seeing someone, and then this other guy mentions it too. It happens the entire night. 1 second he's near the fire pit, next he's near us, and it gets really, really strange. Now, during the week, it's, like I said, no one's there, and so it's quite eerie. A lot of the energy from the previous ceremony is floating around in the air. And so, you guys don't have to worry about this. I mean, you're not going to stay there throughout the week. If you go to Soul Quest, you'll be there on the weekend, because that's when there are ceremonies, and that's when the majority of people show up. Completely different vibe during the weekend, but throughout the week, days, a little different, but most places are like this. Rhythmia was like this. It's magical when there's no one there. I was seeing apparitions that were following me. Some were just walking around. And this tends to be, so far from my experience, the common thing at these plant medicine retreats. There is much more to my experience, of course, but this is all we have time for today. My name is Ryan James Cropper. If you want to go to Soul Quest, then check out their website. Links for that in the description below. This has been Your Potential. Subscribe for more videos like this and for further updates on when I'll be going again. And I'll speak to you all pretty soon. Peace.